I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, and this is Mr. Chen Kun, and I hope I've pronounced your name properly. He's a Chief Digital Transformation Officer for Global Financial Services for Huawei, and he will be speaking on digital transformation trends of the banking industry post-pandemic. So we're really happy to have him on board, and I would love to see him turn on his video and his microphone. Yes. So that I can, you're ready to go. Okay, yes, wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. So thank you for joining us today, and over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, let me share my PowerPoint. All right. Okay. So, all right. Okay, here is my PowerPoint, right? So thank you very much. It's my pleasure to have a chance to speak in this this seminar, right? So my topic is basically digital transformation. I think most of my topic is come from the experience which I have in the China market, and I think within this year I have conduct more than 100 and probably 50 meetings to talk to chief information officer or most of the bank around the world regarding to the pandemic and also digital transformation. So I think I also will share those kind of experience to all of the audience. All right. First of all, I will briefly introduce myself. Actually, I have more than 42 years work experience, especially in the retail banking, credit card, wealth management, and private banking. So I work for China Merchants Bank. I think it's probably the fourth largest retail banking in China, and I think the biggest credit card spending bank in China, and also the leading private banking in China market. Actually, we're managing more than 2 trillion RMB asset under management, in China market. So it's a leading bank. So I've been, working more than I think 12 years in China Merchants Bank. Right. So my last job in China Merchants Bank is as a Chief Information Officer. I'm lead the digital transformation and also set the strategy for the bank to compete with the internet company like WeChat and also Alipay and also Alibaba, those internet companies. Right. Before this, I worked for around 3 years as a foreign licensed bank, the Ping An Bank in China. And then before this, I'm, a banker in Taiwan, more than 8 years in China Trust Commercial Bank. My first job actually is a technology. I work for a technology company. I've been engineered to write the system program for 10 years. And then I do the software delivery, right? This is my experience. So basically my background is combined, first of all, with technology and then banking business, lead the banking business and then to be a chief information officer. So I retired, from CMB last year and I joined Huawei this year, right? Okay. Next page. I think when we're talking about digital transformation, basically we have to come back to see the digital economy. Usually we're talking about digital transformation. It's pretty ambiguous that what is the digital business operation of the bank, right? So my personal understanding is that because the whole society, whole economic transform to digital. So as a bank, you have to transform to digital as well. Otherwise, you will become, isolated from the digital economy, and you cannot face to your customer because most of your customer, no matter it's individual or a business or a corporate customer, they're already in digital. It's very typical in China market. If you can see that, especially the e-commerce company like Alibaba, Pinduoduo or JD.com, right? There are several, you can name it. Those e-commerce company, they start from sell, merchandising through the commerce, through the internet, right? And then when the whole society get into the mobile world, they start from 2007, right? The Apple released the iPhone first. Then you can see the whole, commerce society is shifting to the mobile base, right? Until today, you will see that the mobile already, penetrate a lot of market share of the commerce market in China. So, around in, 2011, I think the commerce company like Alibaba, they start to using mobile as a digital payment, right? They utilize standard mobile phone devices, camera, right? And scan QR code to do the payment. So the whole payment become a digital operation, which is separate from the conventional banking system. Conventional banking still using bank card, right? POS. So through the Union Pay, Visa, Master, all this payment branding, right? Even American Express. But all I can say is basically it's a closed-end system, which is built up by the banking industry. So, so we do this by our own way. But when all the bank, the customer link their bank card into the mobile phone, then they transform into the digital operation. That's, become the digital part of the digital economy. And then, those kind of companies, they continuously transform the customer behavior, right? Because, usually when payment, it's only about the checkout, right? So the commerce company, actually, they start from the checking when you're browsing the product, right? And you make the choices. You put the thing you expect, the merchandising in the cart, and later on, then you can settle, or you just let it, and next time you're coming in to select your product as well, right? So, when they combine the payment into all the context, the customer interaction, all the checking activities, they will create huge big data, right? Then those companies, they were using those data continuously to, improve their commerce. For example, they can give the credit to the individual, the buyer, right? Then they can buy more, right? Then they're asking the people make a deposit on the mobile wallet. Then they can very quickly to snap the food, right? The merchandising. Well, what I mean is they can play many kind of game. They can increase their, commerce sales volume. So you will see that, they were, very naturally they get into the financial services because they want to grow their e-commerce, right? So, this is the, China, I think, situation on the e-commerce, right? This page, or what I want to say is like, WeChat as an example in China. The WeChat actually is start from an instant messaging system. It's about 2010 or 2009 on that period of time, right? That's the first release on the mobile. And they want to expand their instant messaging because they just disrupt the carrier. So the user, you don't need to pay any money, to make the communication, between people and people, to replace the conventional short message, right? So, so they just expand the instant message and then expand into as a social platform. Let the customer to, make a group sharing, share the data, share the information, and also share the location, share the photo. They can do voice conversation, that sort of things, and they can talk just like, video conference until today. So yeah, it's a kind of a roadmap that they expand their platform, right? So actually they're changing the, users' behavior, right? You usually in the conventional, you're using feature phone to do that. You're using face to face, right? Now you through the smartphone, you can using the social platform. You can do lots of things, engage people to people and group, family, and also they open to corporate engagement, right? So this kind of things allow the business or corporate customer, they join into the social platform. They can, solicit some their fans, right? And they can distribute their marketing activities as well. And even in China, I think, the bank, like CMB, we also offer the credit card customer services through the, social platform. Right. So that means we even, join the social platform and building their brand equity trust to the customer. Right. So one day in, I believe it's 2012, 2013, they start to provide the digital payment solution. And this digital payment, they just very quickly utilize the standards, mobile phone devices, the camera, right? The camera and the display to show the QR code, the camera to scan the QR code, right? So in the early stage, those kind of payment actually happening into the P2P. I think in China, very, very one activity is like they're using Red Pack in the Chinese Lunar New Year, so they acquire lots of wallet customers. And then next year, they start to expand to merchant, right? So they invite the merchant to coming in, so just become a business banking. So the merchant have a smart, POS. They can, scan the QR code, so they can complete the whole payment. And then they get in more detail, right? They develop the mini program, this platform for the merchant. All the merchant right now, more than millions of the merchant, they can develop the mini program on the WeChat. So WeChat original is instant messaging, a social platform, and then become a payment, tool, right? Mobile payment, right? And then they get into the, purchasing, business banking, and transportation, healthcare, and right now even into the, government services. So, well, what I'm going to say is like, you can see that technology actually can help your business. I think the digital economy becomes so powerful, which we never think about this. So do you think that this is the end of the story? Of course not. So as a bank, we have to aware that, the technology actually still, move ahead and very, very quickly. For example, 5G, this year, the Apple have different phone, right? So we will see that the technology actually accelerate and also help the digital company like WeChat, like Alibaba, like JD.com, even TikToks, right? They can continuously changing the customer behavior. Once they bring in the digital payment capability, right? They can complete the whole, change the whole customer behavior into the digital, behavior, right? So the whole digital economy is being built up, right? So just like the pandemic in China, you will see that the commerce business model, they are shifting so quickly, start from live stream. So you can sell any goods, any merchandising, any fruits, just like in your farmer. And, in your original manufacturing, you can through the live stream to sell your product because the payment already been resolved by those internet company. Of course, they will get into the financial services to expand their business, right? So this is the digital economy what we face in China, right? And I think the next one is this chart. What I'm going to say is how as a bank, I've been go through a whole, the journey, start from the early day, even, the first day, I started using WeChat or, through the commerce, using Alibaba, that sort of thing. So, as a bank, we changing this, just like this this chart, right? We have 4 stages. In the early one, we've been ego. We think the bank is, closed end, right? We set the rules by ourselves. But actually, when the, internet company get into this and they provide a digital payment and they extend to other services in the early stage, we try to compete with them and we try to, still to protect our territory. But once the customer behavior been changing, especially the mobile digital payment, then you will find that the bank been isolated by those companies. So as a bank, a bank like China Merchants Bank, because we are probably the biggest, retail banking, in China market. So we've been threatened by this, especially on the wealth management and also on the credit card area, right? So we find that we need to come back to fight them. So the first things is we benchmark them, because we have to learn from them first to understand how they, run the business, how they, organize the team, how they develop the product, how they serve the customer, right? How they using what kind of technology and how we can, learn from them. And then we transform ourselves. Once we transform, we will get into the fourth stage, reposition ourselves. Why? Because suddenly when we expand the business, something which we cannot just copy from them, because it's so interesting. Because, internet company, they try to grab the whole market, but as a bank, usually the regulator will, limit you into certain boundary, right? So, we have to reposition ourselves. So, they can do the union loan. They can bridge the loan, sell the loan to other banks. Other bank offer the capital to the internet company, just like N Group. They can lend into their customer. But as a bank in CMB, we try to do this. As I remember, one of the bank, the case also asked me, the bank like CMB, you already have super app architecture, just like WeChat, right? So why don't you sell those kind of customer to other banks? My answer is we come back to review this with our compliance people and legal. We're suddenly finding that we need to tackle a lot of things, otherwise we cannot do this. So we just give up. So you suddenly you have to come back to finding that how, as a digital business operation, a bank getting into those kind of stage, you have to know that how to reposition yourself, how to set your strategy, right, to expand your business. So I think this chart, well, what I'm going to say is we start from the mobile first, right? And then we convert all our, on us operation. Well, what I mean is all the channel will bring into the mobile first. So, for example, when you want to visit branch, you start from your mobile. You want to go to the, talk to the IM, you can go through your mobile, right? You want to ATM, you want to do the payment, you want to, have any discount of the, those kind of features, you have to join this. And another thing is you have to have very good team. You have to transform your business people to know that how to run the app, how to activate the customer, how to retain the customer, right? How to cross-sell the customer by using digital way. I think in the early stage, most of the case, we were using e-coupon, those kind of things. So we're using discount. We're using mobile phone, replenish fee, that sort of things. And then we expand to some other payment, for example, transportation, healthcare, wealth, wellness, and, those kind of things. And, so when you get into the digital world, digital economy, you join with the internet company, then you can embed their services into your app to bring the, new services to your customer. For example, in the CMB app, you can do the shopping, you can buy a cup of coffee, Starbucks, or you can do, hail a car, do the transportation, you can, take the subway, all of those kind of things you will bring up to your app. Then you have to have people just like you to running a credit card or retail or wealth management, you have to activate your customer, right? So then you can engage to your customer directory. Then you have whole bunch of data. Then so you can leverage those kind of customer information. They can deal with the digital payment, unsecured loan, mortgage, private banking, and even in CMB today, I think we even expanding into the area of, for example, payroll system and also, government customer and is the mobile. Actually, you have to expand your mobile services. Then you can get into the digital economy. So I think I will summarize 3 key takeout. The first things is benchmark to the leading bank, especially the leading player, which your customer most use. Most of the time they use. And for example, in China, basically my experience is bench Alipay and also WeChat Pay. That's very important. Then you can learn that how they activated the customer. And as a bank, then you can reposition yourself because bank have your own resources, which the internet company may not have, right? Second thing is mobile. I think mobile is the most, big supply chain technology around the world and used by everyone, right? So I think the whole society, whole global is moving to more quickly to support the smartphone, right? So I think mobile, if we put mobile as the come to first, then you will see that app is going to be the most important things, because once people, your user, your customer, they're using the mobile, you will see in the mobile it's only app, right? So the bank have to learn how to build the best mobile, not just transaction, but also the whole engage to get into the digital economy. I think the third one is, I think there are many banks which, because the financial industry, actually banking industry, they have different scale of the bank, right? So I think very important is if the bank do not have the resources to, build up the technology by yourself, then I strongly recommend you have to think about the public cloud and using the public cloud to bring you, resources, leverage a cutting edge technology very quickly with minimal investment. That's very important, right? So I think this is the takeout for all the audience. I think I just end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chen Kun. It was an absolute pleasure, hearing your experience and hearing 45 years of experience with the banking sector. Well, that definitely tells us today that it is important to, kind of get an expert to learn from, right? Now, I especially like to applaud to the fact that you mentioned that the 5 new solutions and about the benchmark fintech companies, reposition of bank strategies, mobile app first, the fast try and learn digital operation. So I would like to definitely thank you for that. With that, I see the audience hasn't asked any questions, so thank you very much for joining. Hopefully, I will get in touch with you soon. I would like to now move